Hello everyone, welcome to Ednet Podcaster, your online platform that gives you information on your course of interest and job opportunities ahead. Today's episode is a really special episode. We have Mr. Rohit Kochhar with us. Rohit Kochhar is one of India's most accomplished corporate lawyers and legal entrepreneurs. For this, in 2008, he was awarded the International Council of Jurists Award by Dr. Manmohan Singh for his distinct accomplishment in legal entrepreneurship and corporate law. In 2009, he was awarded with the Rajiv Gandhi Award by Rajiv Shukla and Katrina Kaif for being the young achiever and entrepreneur, the first and only practicing lawyer in India to get this award. In 2010, he was awarded with the Rashtriya Gaurav Award, the Pride of India Award, for his distinctive work in the legal field. As a corporate lawyer, Mr. Rohit Kochhar is involved in advising several numerous foreign clients on matters relating to inbound investments. His work primarily includes regulatory approvals, joint ventures, exchange control, corporate litigation, and foreign collaborations. Mr. Rohit Kochhar is also the chairman and managing partner of Kochhar & Company. Kochhar & Company offers a wide range of legal services in the area of corporate and commercial laws and specializes in representing major foreign and domestic corporations with diverse business interests in India. 6 overseas offices, including UAE, Saudi Arabia, and Tokyo, make it the first and only legal firm in India to have offices in these countries. We will be asking Rohit Kochhar questions related to practicing law in India, the opportunities of legal entrepreneurship ahead, the challenges a student faces after graduating with a law degree, the mistakes entrepreneurs are making nowadays, and the advice you would like to give to entrepreneurs. We have Mr. Rohit Kochhar with us, who is going to speak to us about practicing law and entrepreneurship. Thank you, Mr. Kochhar, for coming on Podcaster.
It's my pleasure.
Well, the first question for you is that what is the kind of interest or aptitude do you think one needs to get into law?
Depends which branch of law one wants to pursue, because practicing in the courts as a litigation counsel is a different ball game altogether. Whereas working in air-conditioned offices such as this one is again a different domain and a different planet. So it really depends whether the person concerned is keen to address courts and be an arguing counsel and has a passion or a proclivity for addressing gatherings and making speeches, which skill then he can use successfully also in the courtroom. And some people are more of introverts. They are hesitant speaking out loudly and addressing courts and division benches and chief justices. So for those kind of people, I think corporate law is more suitable.
What are the challenges you think a student faces after graduating with a law degree?
Well, these days, given the fact that the supply of lawyers in this country is far greater than the demand, and law colleges are churning out law graduates by the thousands every year. The biggest challenge for them these days is finding a job with a good corporate law firm. And notwithstanding the fact that the legal industry has grown rapidly, and so have the number of law firms, as well as the size of the law firms, yet the inflow of talent is much greater than what the law firms as a species can absorb. And coupled with the fact that since law firms tend to pay much higher salaries than senior counsels in the courts, there is a leaning amongst youngsters to join a corporate law firm where they feel they can get a steady income from the very nascent stages of the practice of law.
So how much time do you think aspiring lawyers should wait or expect to succeed to the level which they
If it's litigation, they have to be very patient. It could take anything between 8 to 10 years for a lawyer in the courts before he or she can start making a mark and making their presence felt. In the corporate law firm domain, it's faster and easier, because if you're hardworking and capable and you manifest your skills even at a young age, then you can get promoted within the firm, even on a year-by-year basis.
Do you think it makes sense for students to go overseas to study law when they want to practice in India?
I would say yes, though it's not directly relevant to a litigation practice, for instance, but it helps because it shapes up the personality of The individual gives international and global exposure to the person concerned. And I believe knowledge one acquires as an international traveler or a student really stands one in good stead, regardless of which field one is going to pursue.
Do you think it makes sense for students to go after the LLB directly for LLM, or they should get some kind of work experience?
I would say a work experience for 2 years would be good, because it enables the lawyers and the young graduates to get familiar with the legal system in India. And when they are armed with that practical knowledge before they venture out for an LLM, it widens their perspective and their mental horizon, and it's always a good thing.
In 1994, you started your entrepreneurial journey with Kochhar and Company. What led you to start the company with 2 associates at that time?
I was practicing criminal law in the Delhi High Court for 7 to 8 years before I took that decision. And it was a very impulsive and an instinctive decision. My inside, and there was an inner voice which spoke to me, saying, move away from the courts. And I think what happened was, if I can say this with modesty, that at a very young age, I hit a saturation point in the Delhi High Court in the practice of criminal law. I was an arguing counsel specializing in habeas corpus and more specifically preventive detention. And being a habeas corpus specialist at a very young age, I did about 120 final hearings. I won 119 of them. So I had reached a plateau, coupled with the fact that I was a little disillusioned, if I can say that, with the judiciary and the lack of proactiveness on part of the judiciary those days in coming to the rescue of the detainees and upholding the freedom of individuals, which is guaranteed in the Indian Constitution. So to put it in simple language, the quantum of relief also was on the decline. Not so much in percentage terms, but in terms of the time it would take to get a detainee released, even if you were successful in the Article 226 petition. The detention periods those days used to be 1 year. What became a trend towards the mid-90s was that it would take about 8 to 9 months to get the detention order quashed. So by the time you'd have the final hearing in the High Court, 9 months of the detention period of 1 year would have been over.
What opportunities do you see in legal entrepreneurship nowadays?
It's highly competitive compared to when I started the law firm. So it's not a bed of roses. However, if you compare the opportunities here to the Western world, still very ample, because Indian law firms, though again very large in number compared to when I started my firm, but are still smaller in number, smaller in size. Most of them are sole practitioners running law firms and haven't reached that level of development, either from a managerial standpoint or from the standpoint of super specialization of different practice verticals. So for instance, if you want to be a corporate lawyer specializing in insurance or infrastructure in New York, you have a big challenge staring you in the face, because in New York City alone, there would be 500 super specialists in these two domains alone. Not the case in India. Coupled with the fact that our legal system is also evolving and still developing compared to the Western world. Therefore, the opportunities are greater because the specialization is less compared to our counterparts in the US or the UK.
So you're suggesting that India is the place for entrepreneurs now?
Legal entrepreneurs, yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
What do you think? How much of a difference does MBA make nowadays, keeping global economy in mind? Businesses, does having an MBA really help in entrepreneurship?
Having any educational qualification, which is going to be a supplement or a complement to the various other talents and skills which are required to succeed in any business, can only help. So personally, I'm a big fan of education at any level, and I believe it's one wealth which no one can snatch away from you, and you are always going to be an MBA if you have that degree, regardless of the vicissitudes of business and the economy you operate in. Other than the fact that education in any form, at any level, also broadens your horizon, adds to your information and your knowledge data bank, and is an experience which can be deployed usefully by entrepreneurs in India. Though I may hasten to add that it's not an end in itself.
Sure.
And it's important having a degree such as an MBA, but you need 10 other qualities and skills to succeed.
What are the qualities in Rohit Kochhar's book which is required in an entrepreneur in today's date?
Okay, I by no means claim to be a very successful entrepreneur. I feel I still have a long journey up ahead of me. But I do also I feel very strongly from the core of my heart that there is no substitute to hard work. Many youngsters today in India whom I encounter, they want to take a shortcut. And most of their dreams and goals are driven by materialistic parameters. It's owning a car or a big house. So the milestones they have in mind are all material. And I think that's a mistake, because whether it's the practice of law or a new business you're starting as an entrepreneur, your first milestone and the underlying religion that you should embrace is wanting to excel. So if you try and excel in any business and every department of a new business that you start, the fruits will follow. So the passion to excel and the zeal and zest to be creative and innovative are qualities which have no substitute.
What's the advice you would give to entrepreneurs now?
I would say work very hard. Again, don't kill yourself. Maintain a work-life balance, but work very hard. Work with passion. Passion almost to the extent of an obsession. If you're not passionate and not obsessive about your goal, you will not succeed as much as you should. And I believe that if you're committed and dedicated and hardworking, and you pursue your goal with integrity, honesty, then the forces of nature will conspire to help you succeed. So that drive and that fire in the belly and that zeal and zest which comes from within is very important.
And the last question is the feel on winning the Rajiv Gandhi Award.
Well, it was a great and yet a humbling experience. It's something which I had never expected, because the Rajiv Gandhi Award had never been given to any practicing lawyer. So for me to be nominated to be the first lawyer in India to win that accolade was, of course, an exhilarating experience and also motivating. But then these kind of awards also apply a lot of pressure on you, because then the industry views you as someone who has to constantly perform. But that's the price you pay for success, even in bits and pieces. But it was a great experience and a moment of pride for my parents as well.
Well, we at Ednet thank you for your time and opportunity and wish you all the best ahead of your future, and may you reach more heights of success.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We at Ednet hope you got critical information about practicing law in India and entrepreneurship. Do connect with us on Facebook and Twitter to get regular updates on your course of interest, your dream university, admission tips, and tips on standardized tests such as SAT, GMAT, GRE, and TOEFL. I thank you for watching this episode of Ednet Podcast. Until the next episode, this is Nishan Sundi signing off. Thank you.